Hello and welcome to Leia Talks Wrestling. Yes, I know it's been a long time indeed. I don't even know whether it's a long time anymore because it's like the internet, and like if you miss like a week of the internet, it's like missing like 6 months or something. I don't even know, but I just been really busy with IRL shit and just trying to get my life back together, I guess you could say. But I have been watching wrestling. I just have not been talking about it with you guys, and I feel kind of bad. So, going back to a normal schedule, kind of, sort of, maybe. We're going to be doing. I think what I'm going to be doing starting next week. I am going to be doing the SmackDown and Raw reviews on like a Tuesday. I think I'm gonna do that, but today I'm just gonna do a recap from last couple of Raw and SmackDown. So I will do it next week. Next week on Tuesday or Wednesday, I will be doing Raw and SmackDown reviews, but I will add this SmackDown from last week as well as the other SmackDown after SummerSlam, and then the Raw. I'm not gonna do the Raw after SummerSlam because I did talk about that Raw on my SummerSlam review with Jim. So if you have not seen that, please go check that out. And yeah, but so I think I also want to do that instead. I think that might be a little bit more easier and stuff like that. We'll see. If it's worth talking about. If it's not worth talking about. Kevin Owens is back. I feel like it's worth talking about. Anyways, so let's just go ahead and start. So we'll start with, like I said, the SmackDown after SummerSlam. Let's start off with the ladies first. We had Chelsea Green come out, and she basically is now the women's champion. I thought she was the interim champion, but it turns out that it looks like Rhea Ripley is going to be out longer than expected, and she's going to get an operation. She probably won't be back in the Royal Rumble. If I can see her winning the title back, we'll all be happy for her. But as of right now, it looks like Chelsea Green is the champion. Which, you know what? It's not the way I would have put it. Her as champion, but good for her. Good for her. Maybe these people thought they were being funny and putting her as interim champion and saying like, oh, we'll see what be a champion and like. But you know what? I'm glad now she's an actual world champion, and I don't give a shit if it's 2 days, 30 days, a week, whatever. I don't give a shit. On that book, it's going to say Chelsea Green was champion. All I care about. But anyway, she wants to go and thank the audience for always supporting her and everything else like that, and all this other stuff. But she wanted to thank her best friend, Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany comes out, and then Chelsea Green is like, I just want to thank you. I'm sorry I beat you and everything else, but thank you for being a friend and everything else like that. And that's when Tiffany Stratton was about to say something, and here comes Fatal Influence. They come out, and JC Jane is like, look, because of you, Tiffany, I'm the reason I did not end up in that tournament, which she should have been in. I think I 100% agree that she should have been in that tournament. I don't know why Tiffany Stratton was there, other than the fact that, she's a Minnesota girl. That thing was in Minnesota. Other than that, I don't understand, but whatever. Anyways, she's like, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna take away your title, the one thing that you love and everything else. And Tiffany Stratton's like, okay, cool, I'll give you that match, but only if they give up the match for the tag team titles. So they agreed, so they had a match. The Fatal Influence, the ones with the tag titles, and then Chelsea versus Tiffany. I'm just like, where are we going with this? This is stupid, but whatever. They had their match. It ended up with Chelsea Green getting pinned. I'm like, where are they going with this? Because this is stupid. Ended up with that, and then here comes the Irresistible Forces, Nia Jax and Lash Legends. They come in and they jumped Tiffany and Chelsea Green. Well, they jumped Tiffany. They couldn't jump Chelsea Green because it turns out that Chelsea Green got injured in the match, during the match. So that will come on later on in the week. But I'll get to there later. But she got injured, so they basically jumped Tiffany, did something to Chelsea Green, and then held up like the titles or whatever like that. So poor Chelsea, you know, just poor Chelsea. Like, she finally gets to be champion, and now she's injured. I'm like, this girl cannot fucking catch a break. Another women's thing happened. This was the main event, which I'm always glad that the women are main event in these shows. However, Charlotte Flair versus Jade Cargill, I was like, there must be something up, because yeah, look, I like Jade. I think Jade looks beautiful. Jade is great. Jade can't wrestle. I am sorry, she just can't wrestle. Like, it's so I don't know if she's trying or not. Like, she can wrestle with some people, and some people she can't. Like Charlotte Flair, for some reason she can't do it. I don't know. She looks great. I guess that's all that matters. As long as she looks good, I guess that's what matters. Yeah, she can't wrestle. Can't cut a promo. I'm just like, why is this the main event? I'm like, what's the point? We figure it out later. So later on, we had Charlotte Flair do natural selection. I think that's how she wins, and she pins Jade Cargill, and then that's when Jen and B-Bag come in, beat up Charlotte, and oh yeah, Alexa's back. So Alexa Bliss is back. That injury. Hooray! She had the Lily doll. She's on top of the stage. She had the Lily doll. And then he does something to the Lily doll, and the lights go out, the lights come back on, and we get the debut of Tatum Paxton. That's her name, from NXT. Which I'm kind of surprised that she debuted on SmackDown, because I figured she might debut on Raw, since her and Lyra Valkyria are like best friends or whatever, some shit like that, and maybe they can help each other out, or maybe I don't know, because Lyra ain't doing much of anything right now. But so I thought maybe she would do that, but according to what I've heard, that it was Charlotte Flair who wanted Tatum Paxton in the group, so she asked for it, so we will see what happens. So yeah, she ended up pretty much body slamming or cross-bodying Michin and B-Fab, and then they all took them out and everything else, and they hugged in the ring now at the end of the show, but not for me. Anyways, let's go back to do some guy stuff. So the one match that I remember was the match for the United States Championship. Baron Corbin defended his title against Rick Williams again for the second time, and I must say that this match was a lot better than the match at SummerSlam. Way better. I mean, he won the same way, where he hit him with the title and got the pin and everything else like that. So I don't know if that's going to be affected later on the show. But it was a way better match. I do like Baron Corbin's entrance. He does it with a motorcycle now, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, I think that was one of the better matches on SmackDown that day. So let's go ahead and talk about what happened with let's talk about Cody Rhodes. So Cody Rhodes started the show. we started the show with Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes is not happy because he got screwed at SummerSlam by Randy Orton. So obviously Cody Rhodes being mad, but not too mad because he's wearing a suit. See, when Cody Rhodes wears a suit, he may or may not be in a fight, right? There's no fighting when there's a suit on, right? There may not be a fight. I'm not saying there's no fight. I'm saying there may not be a fight. It might be a little bit of tussle or here and there, but it's not gonna be no fucking brawl out fight. When he's wearing a tracksuit, I'm like, alright, somebody is getting their ass kicked today. I don't know who, but somebody's getting their ass kicked because Cody Rhodes got on his tracksuit. He was not wearing a tracksuit today, so nobody's really getting their ass kicked. Damn. So anyways, we had Cody Rhodes come out and he's asking for Randy Orton. He's like, Randy Orton, you need to come out here and you need to explain yourself and blah 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 blah. Obviously, Randy Orton did not come out. So then Cody Rhodes was like, alright, well I have another question. I have a question. He's like, I wonder if Punk knew about Randy Orton and everything else. And Punk heard his name. I think he's like Joe Henry. Whenever he hears his name, he comes out now. So Punk comes out and he's like, look, I had no idea that Randy Orton did what he did to you. But if you want, we can go over there, you and I together, and we can go beat him up together if you want to, and blah, 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 blah. And then Cody Rhodes like, no, it's okay. I got Randy. You go ahead, talk to your people and everything else. And he introduces the WWE champion, and he leaves the ring. And as he's leaving the ring, CM Punk is like, hey, Cody, just say when. And he's holding up the title, and Cody Rhodes is shaking his head and approving and everything else. And that's when we get Kevin Owens, which is the #1 contender for the title. And we get Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes, they stand next to each other on the stage, and Cody Rhodes hands him the mic and leaves. So then you have I think CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, CM Punk and Kevin Owens started talking. Don't ask me what they said, I don't remember. But it was a good promo. It was a great promo. They talked about things from like years ago and how Punk pretty much paved the way for people like, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to become champion, shit like that and everything else. And how CM Punk, I don't know if he liked Kevin Owens or not, but I think he might have had a problem with Kevin Owens or something at one point, and everything else. It goes more into it than the following weeks, but they had a great promo and everything else like that. It ended up with the security people coming out because they wanted to fight each other, and obviously they can't fight each other and everything else like that. But like I said, it was a good promo. Then you had Sami Zayn in the back talking to Nick Aldis. He was like, hey Nick Aldis, I think you did great. SummerSlam, I cried when your son came into the ring and you hugged him and everything else like that. He's like, and Nick Aldis was like, thank you. And Sammy's like, are you gonna ask me about my match on SummerSlam? The one you screwed me on? And he goes, I didn't screw you. He's like, not only did you put Gunther in the match, but then you put Kevin Owens into the match. That's when Kevin Owens comes in, and Nick Aldis is like, I think you two should talk, so I'll leave. And Sami Zayn's like, hey Kevin, welcome back. And Kevin's like, thank you. I don't know if you really mean that or not, but I appreciate that. Thank you. He goes, oh no, I mean it. I was the one who was separately worried about you, wondering if you're ever going to wrestle again and everything else like that. I was worried about you, so I'm glad you're back and everything else. But you being back kind of screwed me up and everything else. And Kevin Owens like, look, I wasn't trying to screw your thing up and everything else like that. However, if you were in my situation, you would probably have done the same thing. Don't say you wouldn't. And then Sami Zayn's all, you know what, you're right. It's true. And he's like, you know what, I would rather have you be champion and beat CM Punk than anything else anyway, so you know what? Good luck with you on your match and everything else, which is going to be this Friday, by the way. So he's like, thank you, and all other stuff like that. And he goes, and then Sami Zayn goes, well, if you need any help or anything like that, let me know. And Kevin Owens like, you know what, I appreciate that, but I think I'm gonna handle this CM Punk problem on my own. But thank you very much, you know. And instead of being like, okay, cool, I get it, whatever, Sami Zayn gets all angry, and he's like, okay, cool, you don't want my help? That's fine, don't worry about it. No, don't worry about it, and everything else. And he's getting a little hostile and everything. And I'm like, what the hell's up with you, fucking Sami, and everything else? And even Kevin is like, no, that's not what I meant, and everything else. He's like, no, it's okay. He's like, just to let you know, though, I'm not after the person. I'm after the title. So whoever has the title, that's who I'm going after. Just to let you know. And then he's like, okay, cool, whatever, right? So then later on, Sami Zayn is talking to the corpse, Johnny Gargano, which I'm guessing he's just gonna lay there until his contract's up. I don't know what Johnny Gargano is doing. Have him do something, people. Have him wrestle somebody. Anybody. Oh my goodness gracious. Give the man something to do other than just lay around. Like me, I would take the job of laying around because, you know, I love to lay around. Not like that, but you know what I mean? But like, he's Johnny wrestling. Like, wrestle. Why is it so hard? I don't understand. There's people out there. Get some jobbers. Bring his status up. But whatever. Okay, do what you gotta do. Anyways, so he's talking to Johnny Gargano, and then he's talking to Johnny Gargano about CM Punk and Kevin Owens, and CM Punk hears his name. And there's CM Punk, and CM Punk's like asking like Sami Zayn why he's talking to a corpse, and I'm like wondering the same thing, like why you're talking to a corpse and like that. And it was basically back and forth and everything else. It is crazy. So we have Randy Orton. Randy Orton's back in. He goes into the ring and he's farming. He's getting all the love. People are shouting Randy, and everything else like that. And as soon as Randy Orton's about to say something, hear Cody Rhodes music. He comes out and he's taking off his like jacket from his suit and everything else, and like, oh okay, all this other stuff. And as he's sliding into the ring, Randy Orton is sliding out of the ring and he's getting out of there. And Cody Rhodes is like, no, you don't go nowhere. You, of everything that we've been through, especially in recent times, you owe me an explanation. And Randy is like, I owe you an explanation? Like, motherfucker, I don't owe you shit. I don't owe you nothing. Oh, you know, an explanation? But I'll explain it to you anyway. He goes, no, you told me that be the best Randy Orton I can be, and be the beast, or be not the beast, but the Viper and everything else. Like, I need your permission to be who I am and everything else like that. And Cody Rhodes is like, you mean the worst part of you? Is that what you want to be? Fine, whatever. But just to let you know that from now on, I don't have to be the good guy anymore and everything else. And I'm just, interesting. Very interesting. And everything else like that. I don't know what is going on with Randy and Cody. I know they're trying to bring back the WrestleMania thing, and they're trying to do it right, I guess, which is cool. I don't got a problem with that if it's done right. If it's done the way it was supposed to be done, without fucking Pat McAfee and Jelly Roll in the motherfucking mix and everything else like that. You want to bring the wives in it? Fine, bring the wives in it. That's fine. But like, leave the celebrities alone. But I don't know what he means by no longer being the good guy anymore. I don't think he's gonna turn heel. This is what I would like to see at the end of the day. I want to see because Randy Orton did tell Cody Rhodes that as long as he has breath in his lungs, Cody Rhodes will never be champion. Right? So every time Cody Rhodes has the opportunity to be champion, I think Randy Orton's gonna be there. So this is what I want. I want it to be built up to something to where like Randy Orton turns Cody heel after a while. Like Cody Rhodes is not getting champion. He's getting angrier and angrier and angrier and angrier and angrier, and eventually turns him, you know, heel. I don't want him to turn heel overnight. I want it to be a slow but fast process. That's what I want. Is that what they're gonna do? I don't know. But we'll see what happens, right? I'm giving this another chance. You know, see if you can get me back to the Randy and Cody thing. But that was pretty much SmackDown for after SummerSlam. It was one of the better SmackDowns, I gotta say. It was one of the better SmackDowns. I actually approve this one. It's actually pretty good. So then we have Raw the next Monday, which the women. So we had Stephanie Van Curve come out and she basically cut a promo with the audience talking about thank you for supporting her when she was injured and everything else like that, and how she's happy that she can that the Judgment Day women are like afraid of her and everything else, and got them on the run and everything else, and how she's gonna get back her title from Liv Morgan and trying to see who's gonna stop her. That's when Becky Lynch comes out, and Becky Lynch is like, look, you and I want the same thing. We both want to kick Liv Morgan's ass for two different reasons, but nonetheless, we both want to kick her ass, and we both want that championship. Only thing is, last time you had championship, you didn't do much of it with it either, and it didn't go any fucking where. Let me have the championship because it will go places. I'm a star and everything else like that. And then they went back and forth. It ended up with basically Stephanie Van Curve telling Becky Lynch, to stay out of her way, getting her title, blah 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 blah. She has to go through you, whatever. She will go through you, whatever. And then she leaves the ring. As she's leaving the ring, Becky Lynch, she's still talking shit, not on the microphone, but out, whatever. And that's when Liv Morgan comes in and jumps Becky Lynch from behind, and she beats her up a little bit, and then she was about to go for her finisher, the Oblivion, but Becky blocks it and gives her a black spoiler, and then I think a manhandle slam. By this time, Stephanie Van Curve is coming back, and I guess she wants a little bit of piece of it too. But by this time, Liv Morgan is pretty out and down and whatever. And you had Becky Lynch and Stephanie Van Curve get into the faces yet again. They were not on the microphone, but they were just talking to each other. So I'm glad now that Stephanie's back, which was terrible. We had to wait for her to come back. I don't understand why Liv Morgan couldn't have like some mid-card competitors or whatever. Not necessarily for the championship, but she wasn't fighting like at all. She was just watching other people in her faction fight, which is ridiculous. But I'm kind of glad now we have Stephanie and Becky. So she has some competition. I don't know if it's going to be one-on-one. I don't know if it's going to be a three-way or whatever it's going to be. But I'm glad she has some competition now. Another thing that happened on Raw with the ladies, we had more Judgment Day women. So we had Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez, who is the Intercontinental Champion, by the way, go up against Sol Ruca and a mystery opponent of Sol Ruca's choosing. Turns out the mystery opponent was Io Sky. This was a pretty good match. I really enjoyed this match. It ended up with Io and Sol winning the match, so good on them. And then later on in the show, you had Sol Ruca and Io. They were backstage and everything else, and they were talking to each other. And that's when they ran into Lyra Valkyria, who I didn't even recognize at first. I'm like, who's that? And then she starts talking. I'm like, oh, that's fucking Lyra. I'm like, the fuck is up with Lyra? Like she's been going through some shit. Like she just looked like she just lost all the sleep. But anyway, Lyra is telling Sol Ruca, congratulations, but you're not gonna win the IC title. That title is hers. That she always gets the opportunity. Sol Ruca always gets these opportunities and everything else. And Sol Ruca's like, I don't get opportunities, I earn them and everything else like that. Because what have you done? And then Lyra's like, what have I done? Have you talked to Bailey lately? And everything else like that. He goes, just stay out of the way and everything. And told Io Sky what she's looking at and everything else, and like saying that she go up. And even Io Sky was like, what's wrong with her? And so Brooke is like, I don't know. She looked like she lost some sleep. I'm like, she do. She looked like she go to sleep, Lyra. Go to sleep, Lyra. Okay, like go get some rest. It's okay. It's fine. But I don't know if Bailey shows up next week, which I guess would be today. I don't know, but we shall see. We shall see. I don't know. I think that's all of the women. Well, the one that matters anyway. So there's a tournament started last Monday for the number one contender spot for Roman Reigns, but it is not going to be on Raw or WWE. It's going to be on Triple A. It's going to be on Triple A. So I think it's a luchador title shot or whatever. So, and I'm like, oh, okay. You know, we have that person who wasn't King of the Ring. You know, that could be a good. No, you don't want to do that match? No? Okay. Anyways, they don't want to do that match yet. Why does he win? I don't fucking know. But, continue on. So, the first match they had was. Now, I don't know the AAA people. I know some other people, because some of the people are AAA / WWE. So, they had Penta versus El Dorito Kid, which I don't know why he called a kid. I think he's like the same age as Penta, but whatever. Anyways, this match was okay. It was a really slow luchador match. It's so slow, but it ended up Penta winning and everything else. So I don't, like I said, I don't know who's in the tournament. I know 3 people. I know Penta, I know Rey Fenix, and I know Dragon Lee. Look, if it ain't Penta versus Rey Fenix or Penta versus Dragon Lee, what are we doing? What are we doing? Because I would love to see Penta versus. I don't think Penta's going to win, but Penta versus Roman Reigns at. And this is not Worlds Collide, by the way. This is like 2 weeks before Worlds Collide. I don't remember the name of the thing. Is it Triple Media? I don't know. But whatever it is, it's going to be Roman Reigns versus somebody. So I'm guessing it's going to be Penta. I don't not be. I also heard, speaking of Worlds Collide, that we might get, finally, hopefully, maybe, we get the match between Rey Fenix and Penta versus Usos. So it's the Luchador Brothers versus the Usos, which I have no problem with that. Worlds Collide, that's a great place. Let's do it. Let's do it. But we'll see. We shall see what. We had Chad Gable talking to Rey Mysterio, and he's basically told Rey Mysterio great luchador, and he wants to. I was the best luchador for the IC title, and I'm thinking again, not Chad Gable versus Rey Mysterio, but Rey Mysterio going after the US title again, not the US, yeah, the US, no, Intercontinental Championship again, because he already went when Penta had it, and now he's going again with Gabriel, and I'm just like, okay. Whatever, sure. Just like, why not? I don't know if Myra doing this yet again, but alright. But speaking of Rey Mysterio had an interview with, they don't know, Jackie or Kelly, one of them. Anyways, they were talking about the tournament and everything else like that. And then Dragon Lee comes in, and Dragon Lee's like, oh, you know, thank you so much for putting me into the tournament and everything else like that. And Rey Mysterio says, of course, foreign places and everything else. You're a great luchador and everything else like that. That's when Dominic Mysterio comes in. He goes, "How are you gonna have a luchador title, a tournament, and not put me in it and everything else like that?" I'm like, because Dominic, if you're in it, you would definitely win the whole damn thing, right? It would have been you or Penta, and it would have been you who won the whole thing. No, no, okay, no, we can't do that. And he goes, and Rey Mysterio goes, "I didn't think you won any handouts. Is that why you became like the King Jackass or something like that, and all those stuff like that?" And he starts talking, and Dominic Mysterio starts talking to his dad, and Dragon Lee is like, "Stop disrespecting father like that," and everything else. And then he starts talking shit. Dominic starts talking shit to Dragon Lee, and Dragon Lee is like, "You know what I'm gonna do? I'm Adam Pearce. Imagine I'm like, bless it." And he's like, "Yeah, okay, whatever. I'll see you in the ring." So then they go into the ring and they fight, and then Dragon Lee ends up beating Dominic Mysterio. And I'm just thinking to myself, okay, look, I didn't want Dominic Mysterio to lose because he's been losing all his matches. He lost his match at SummerSlam and lost this match, lost that match, and everything else. However, I also didn't want Dragon Lee to lose because I didn't want Dragon Lee to lose because you have to go with the competition. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to go in as like just lost to a match when you try to go into a competition. That's not good either. So I'm just like, I was hoping like something would happen, like disqualification or some shit like that, but that didn't happen. Dragon Lee beat Dominic Mysterio clean, and I'm just like, who did Dominic Mysterio piss off in WWE? But I don't know what's going on in Triple H. He's like the mega champion over there or something like that. Triple H champion or whatever over there. I don't know what Triple H, but here in WWE it's like losing all these matches. I'm just like, who did you piss off? Like, who did you get mad? Like, whose coffee did you spit in? Like, what's going on? I don't know what's happening. But after the match, we had Big Cass came last week. And Big Cass, you know, if you remember Enzo Amore, Big Cass, that thing, he showed up again. He had beaten up Von Evans last week, and now he's beating up Dragon Lee. I was like that. And then Devon Evans comes out. Devon Evans looks like he's getting some licking on Big Cass. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if we're gonna have a match between Big Cass and Devon Evans. Maybe have Devon Evans and Dragon Lee versus Big Cass and maybe that's when Bill Moore comes out. I don't know. I have no idea. Chelsea, I prefer him not to come out. So I prefer Cass like a little bit more, but we Chelsea, I don't know. We have Vision. They were interviewed by Brian Saxton. This was right before the match. I think this was the first match they had. This was right before the match that they had what's his name? Tozawa. I forgot. That's it. They had a match with them and they're talking and everything. I was not paying attention to anything with Maxine or Austin saying who cares. I was looking over at Braun Breaker because Braun Breaker just looked like he is in a mad funk. Like he's pissed off. So last week, I did talk about this, I'll say it again. Last week, you had Oba Femi calling himself the future from WWE, even Brock Lesnar after SummerSlam took it. He didn't like that. Braun Breaker didn't like that because that's what Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman talked about Braun Breaker as the future of WWE. Apparently, you can't have two futures in WWE. Anyway, so he was mad about that. He talked about that. So much that, Braun Breaker and Obafemi, they had like a little bit of face off. They didn't fight or anything else, but on top of the ramp, they had a little bit of a stare down at each other, to where it had to have Austin Theory pull away Braun Breaker to come into the match. That was last week. So this week, they come in and Braun Breaker is like in this funk and everything. He's like just thinking this really hard and everything else, and they start. So the rest of the division leave, right, to go to the ring, and Braun Breaker asks Byron, what do you think about Obafemi? He's like, I like Obafemi and everything else, and he starts laughing. It's like, yeah, you sound like Paul Heyman. That. So then they have their match, which was okay, I guess. It's a Brian Sack. It's a Tozawa and Austin Theory match. So draw your own conclusions on how you fucking want to draw your own conclusions. But they had the match, and then obviously Austin Theory beats Tozawa. So now they're going to kill Tozawa because they're going to get chairs and they're going to beat the living crap out of them. But before they're able to do that, here comes Adam Pearce and the Merry Men security people come in and they try to stop them. Meanwhile, Tozawa's in the ring with Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker is about to spear the fuck out fucking Tozawa, and I'm just like, miss you already, dude. However, before that happened, it didn't happen actually, because that's when Obafemi comes out. Obafemi's music comes on. Braun Breaker just looks over towards the ramp and everything else, and by that time Tozawa's like, fuck this shit, I'm gone. And you have Oba come out, and he's marching down to the ring and everything. Braun Breaker is not moving, he's not smiling, he's not laughing, he's not nothing, he's just standing still. He's just waiting for Braun Breaker to come to the ring. Like, up to the ring. I was looking for you. I've been looking for you, bro. Because that's what he was doing all last week, was just looking for fucking Obafemi and everything else like that. So as Obafemi comes on, he's standing on the apron and everything else, and Braun Breaker's in the ring, not moving, not flinching, not doing nothing. And then Obafemi comes in, and as he's coming in, here comes Adam Pearce and the Merry Men of security. That's not their name, it's just like what I call them. And they're like, no, we're not doing this. No, we're not doing this. But later on, which I have to give Braun Breaker credit, because I'm pretty sure there are some people out there who are like really afraid of Obafemi. This is like a big black man, and he's fucking looks scary. And Braun Breaker, he didn't even break a sweat. He was like, I've been waiting for you. I'm saying, like, I got you, right? But later on, Braun Breaker runs into Paul Heyman, who apparently all he does now is just watch the monitors, because he's not managing anybody. He doesn't manage the division anymore. He ain't managing anybody else. Well, hopefully we get these damn tag titles away from the division, and then you can start fucking managing Braun Breaker again. But we shall see. Anyway, Braun Breaker goes up to Paul Heyman and he's like, did you see what happened? He goes, yeah, I saw. I'm like, of course he saw. That's all he does. Look at monitors. So he goes, yeah, I saw. So I'm just like, he's like, oh, okay, cool. So let me ask you a question. He's like, can I ask you a question? And Paul Heyman's like, you can ask me anything you want. And he's like, do you think that Obafemi is the future? And that's when Paul Heyman was like, Obafemi said that he destroyed Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, and that's exactly what he does. I have to respect Obafemi. And Braun Breaker's like laughing, ha, very funny. That's not what I asked you. I asked you, do you think he is the future of WWE? And this is what basically Paul Heyman kind of just sneaks his way around to, where he just talks about, well, I think that you think that I might think that. I just said I respect it. You don't want me to respect him and to do something about it, maybe not respect him and everything else like that. You know, basically just get it out of like an ass whipping for himself, I guess you could say. And then Braun Breaker shaking his head and said, you know what, you're right, and stuff like that. So I don't know what's gonna happen tonight, but I'm guessing that Braun Breaker is going to fear the fuck out of Boba Fett. I think this time. I think we'll see. We shall see what happens. And everything else. Or maybe not. I don't know. We'll see what happens tonight. But I do like the fact that they put in Obafemi versus, well, they put them together. I don't know, they're fighting each other, not quite yet, but they're putting Obafemi and Braun Breaker on the same like page. I like it. I think it's gonna be great. I don't know who's gonna win. I don't know what's gonna happen and everything else like that. I don't know if it's gonna make Braun Breaker stronger or Obafemi stronger or what. We'll see. We shall see. I don't know what else happened, so I'm just gonna go ahead and skip to event. Before that we had beginning of the show. You had Solo Sokoa, who's a great baby face. I'm like, I am so glad. I love the Solo. The Solo Sokoa right here is like, it's fun. It's fun. He's great. I love it. He's just fucking hilarious, right? So he starts singing Jey Uso's theme song. You know, it's just me, Us, day one-ish. It's just me, Us, day one-ish. As he's coming out of the crowd. He's in the audience. He's coming out of the audience and everything else like that. I think, what city were they in? Yeah, I forget. But he greets them, and I think they were in Virginia. I think that's where they were. But he greets them and everything else like that, and he starts talking about like what happened to Royce Keys. Royce Keys got his ass whipped last week and everything else, and all this other stuff. That's when Jey Uso comes out, and Jey Uso comes out and says, you know what, you need to run the play, you need to do tribal chief. That ain't my tribal chief, says Solo. Like, no, that's your tribal chief and everything else. Last time you didn't run the play, and you became a Royal Rumble winner. You became a champion by beating Gunther. Now look at you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. No one cares anymore. Okay, whatever. And then Jey Uso's like, well, I am going to beat you. Then when I beat you, you got to come back to Tribal Chief. And Randy goes, that's my warning shot. Pow! And it's so funny, right? So then they go over to Solo, and Solo's ducking and everything else. And he's like checking himself and everything else, and he like turns around and he talks to the audience behind him. He's like, you alright back there? Anyone get shot? And y'all cool? You alright? Okay, cool. And everything else. I'm like, okay, I thought that was funny. He goes, well, I'll tell you what, when I beat you, you are no longer allowed to bug me anymore and try to join the fucking family and everything else. And here's my bonus shot. Pew! And everything. So then you had Jey Uso going backstage, and he runs into his twin brother Jimmy and Jacob. And Jacob is like, what are you doing? And Jay's like, I'm going to fight Solo to bring him back into the bloodline. Something that you couldn't do. And everything else like that. He goes, look, I took care of what I needed, which was risky. I hope you know what the F you're doing. That's not what you say. You didn't say F. You didn't say fuck. You didn't say anything like that. I just added it on there, but he said, I hope you know what you're doing. And everything else like that. And Jimmy's like, look, dude, better get that dub. Right? And Jay's like, I got this. Don't worry about it. So before the match, we had LA Knight talking to, again, Jackie or Kathy. I don't remember. Kathy or Jackie. I don't know. Anyways, so he was talking about, you know, the things that they said about Roman Reigns and everything. But, well, first LA Knight was talking Adam Pearce because LA Knight was talking about the L and LA Knight meant really wants to fight Roman Reigns and everything else like that. And he basically was like, Adam Pearce was like, look, you will get your match with Roman or for the title, whoever wins the fucking title, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I'll give you the match. I promise you. Give me a chance. Like, alright, cool. And then later on, he starts talking to Kathy. Kathy or Jackie, which one, I don't know. And talks about, you know, how he's talking shit about Roman and everything else like that. And that's when Solo Sikoa comes in and says, I could use your help. Did you see what happened to Royce Keith? And he's like, yeah, I saw what happened to Royce Keith. That's terrible. But he's like, look, what happened last week was a one-time thing and everything else like that. And Solo's like, you just don't get it, right? You think that you're just gonna fight Roman? That's not true. You're gonna be fighting the whole freaking family. It's a family, dude. Like, wake up. And everything else. I'm like, but if you want to go on alone, that's fine, whatever. And he's like thinking about it and everything else. I honestly thought that LA Knight would have came out later on in the match, but ended up not coming out. So we had the match. It's a match between Jey Uso versus Solo Sikoa. It was okay. It wasn't the greatest match in the world, but you know, whatever. It ended up with Jimmy Uso coming out, basically causing a distraction for Jey Uso. Solo ends up spiking Jimmy, and as a result, Jey Uso spears him, gives him the Uso splash for the 1, 2, 3, and I'm like, oh my goodness! Now he has to go back to the Bloodline. I wasn't really upset about this because I was just thinking, well, going back to the Bloodline, is he going to be cooperative in the Bloodline? Is he going to like try to screw him over one day? You know, I don't think next match with the Luchadors, but maybe he screws him over with LA Knight one day. I don't know. Maybe he plays the ball for a little bit and then maybe he just comes out of it, or maybe Roman Reigns will not even take Solo as back because it turns out that, you know, if it wasn't for Jimmy, Jay probably would have won that match, right? So I don't know. We'll find out what happens. I think he comes back today. No, we have to. Roman Reigns is back, and I'm just like, he was gone for like a day. Calm down, like just relax, and everything else. Like, but it was a good match. Everything else. That's all. We will see what happens tonight with that. I think that's all. So let's go to SmackDown last week. I didn't watch all of it, so I watched some of it. I'll give you what I watched. That Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair were talking and backstage and everything else, and Charlotte Flair's like saying thank you, and she was like, don't thank me, thank Paxton. He was like, well, okay, I'll thank Paxton, but that's about it, or there's nothing going on with me and her and everything else like that. He goes, well, actually, I wanted to talk to you about that. And then Alexa Bliss opens up the door, and then there's like this closet with like, you know, Paxton has like these pictures of Charlotte and Alexa all over there and everything else. And they go into the room, and that was pretty much it. What are they doing in the room? What are they doing in this closet room thing? Like, what's going on? Like, I really don't know much about Aiden Paxton that much. I know I've seen her wrestle a couple of times, but I really don't know like character. So yeah, we'll find out. We had in the beginning of the show, we had Chelsea Green come out. Well, first of all, it was Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis comes out and says this is a part of the job that he don't like to do and everything else, and he calls out Chelsea Green, and Chelsea Green is coming out, and you know, she kind of looks sad. She got like a black eye because her eye socket's all fucked up and everything else. And Nick Aldis basically was telling Chelsea Green, because I know you just want a championship and everything, and you got injured. I think as a manager, I'm doing the right thing when I need the title and everything else. And Chelsea Green was like, well, I understand I need to relinquish it and everything else like that, but you know, I think you know what I'm talking about because you had your first match back from like 3 years ago and everything else, which you know how I feel. You've been champion before and all this other stuff and everything else like that. Yada 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 yada. And then Nick goes is like, look, I don't want to hear shit right now. Right? Give me the title. So Chelsea Green, you know, gives up the title and everything else, and Nick Aldis is about to leave, and Nick Aldis is like, look, as a general manager, I feel like I am doing the right thing. However, as a man, I feel like what I should do is just give you 30 days. I'm giving you 30 days to see if you can do something about the eye thing, you know, wear a mask or glasses or whatever it is you need to do. And then the people, the crowd was like really chanting for Chelsea Green, like a lot. They were like, you deserve it and everything else, and they were booing when she had to give up the title and everything else. Like, I think this was like the loudest the audience were all night. And I was like, yeah, man, give her back her fucking title and everything else. So what I'm thinking is they're gonna give her like a mask, and she's gonna fight in a mask and everything else, all this other stuff. So then they happen to talk and everything else, so Nick Aldis gives back the title, and someone comes out, and I'm thinking maybe it's like Tiffany, maybe it's you know, the Irresistible Forces or somebody, but it wasn't neither one of those people. It was Gunther. Gunther comes out, and Gunther's like, alright, enough, stop talking to this loser and everything else, blah 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 and everything else. Why did you screw me out of the match last SummerSlam? And goes, I didn't screw you. If anybody, I screwed Kevin Owens because it was Kevin Owens, because Kevin Owens was always gonna be in this match. I just put you in it. But it wasn't I didn't screw you. I didn't screw you. I didn't screw you at all. And that's when, you know, Chelsea Green is like, excuse me, but we're talking here, you know, some of us champions have things to talk about and everything else. And Gunther pretty much calls her names and everything else, to where, you know, Matt Cardona comes out to protect his wife, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. This is cool. You're gonna lose whatever's gonna happen to you, whatever. But this is great. I love it. Right? So he ended up talking shit to each other. Ended up having a match to where Matt Cardona loses, obviously. But Matt Cardona loses, which is part of the men's part, I know, but it's still the women's part because it's part of Chelsea Green. Anyway, he ends up losing and all the other stuff like that. We see Gunther later on, by the way, but that's what happened. So I don't know what's going to happen with that, but then you had Tiffany Stratton come in, and I think the Irresistible Forces come in. They're about to go get Chelsea, or not really, can't get her because she's injured, but they were going to talk shit to Chelsea, and then Tiffany Stratton comes in, and she gets like hollow drives, or not really hollow drive, she gets messed up for her troubles and everything else, and she does have a title shot with Jacy Jayne, and you see her in the medical, and she's like, I'm still gonna fight, whatever, and it ended up with Jacy Jayne versus Tiffany Stratton for the US title. And Jacy Jayne ends up winning somehow, and Chelsea Green was out there, and I mean, she couldn't do anything, but I mean, she was out there for support, I guess, and all this other stuff. So I could see once they have Chelsea Green back, and you know, she's not fighting a max, that Tiffany Stratton could now lost her title, and it was because Chelsea Green kind of sorta that can turn heel and go after Green, so then Chelsea Green can championship no more. I don't know. I can see that happening. I still think that Chelsea Green should be champion. I mean, unless for some reason or another she just cannot fight because of the injury of her eye or some shit like that, I think that should happen. But I think what's going to happen is that Tiffany's gonna take the title away from Chelsea, which I don't have a problem with that because I prefer Tiffany Stratton to be healed anyway, and even Tiffany Stratton is like, I'd rather be healed than a face. So maybe this is their opportunity to do so. The perfect time for it. So we had the contract signed, I believe, for the title for the WWE Universal, the WWE title. Kevin Owens be this week, by the way. They started talking again. They started talking about things that happened like 20 years ago about some T-shirt thing, and you know about it. I'm not gonna go into it, but you should look it up. It's a thing. It's an actual thing. They have actual real heat, even if it's 20 years ago. It doesn't matter. They have some heat and everything else like that. Basically, they shot up good promo and all this other stuff, and you had Sami Zayn talking to Cody Rhodes was talking to him first. Then Cody Rhodes wants a match with Randy Orton. Don't care when, where, why, but he wants a match with Randy Orton. So it's like, okay, well, you know, Saturday night, which is Sunday night's event, is on coming up, and it's in Atlanta, so you can do it there. Like, okay, cool. And that's when Sami Zayn's like, oh, of course, the Golden Boy gets everything he ever wants and everything else like that, and blah blah blah. And he starts talking shit, and Cody Rhodes is like, look, bro, I'm sick and tired of you. Right? You have a problem with me? You want to do something about it? Let's go. And everything else, like, I do have a problem with you, but I don't want to do nothing about it and everything else. Like, you know what? They used to go back and forth. He goes, you know what? I'm tired of you. Let's have a fight right now. So that was the main event for tonight. It's going to be Cody Rhodes versus Sami Zayn tonight. We had a match with Baron Corbin versus Carmelo Hayes. Baron Corbin ends up winning, I think, clean. I remember. Can't remember. But he ends up winning, so I don't really know what that means. I really don't. It's a good match, but I don't know what that means. Let's go to the main event. We have Sami Zayn versus Cody Rhodes. I know this wasn't going to happen because there was like some little minutes on the show, and I'm just like, what's match ain't gonna happen? What's gonna happen here? Turns out that Cody Rhodes gets jumped again by Randy Orton, and Sami Zayn just leaves or whatever, and all this other stuff. So now they're fighting and everything else. And you remember, like, before WrestleMania, when he split his head against between the stage and the steps and everything else, when he get the chair and bust his head open or whatever. But instead of that, that's what Randy Orton was going to do again to Cody Rhodes. And instead, Cody Rhodes, and he would get a chair, and then he's standing over, he's standing over him and everything else like that. And then Cody Rhodes ends up kicking Randy Orton in the nuts. And so Randy Orton goes down. Now Cody Rhodes is up, and Randy Orton is in the same position as Cody Rhodes was earlier. And he's supposed to hit him with the chair, everything else like that. But before that could happen, there was security come out. Which, by the way, security was out already. They just didn't stop Randy Orton, but for some fucking reason they want to stop Cody Rhodes or whatever. Sure. So then Cody Rhodes ends up hitting Randy Orton in the back. Not hard, because I mean he has a back problem. It hits him in the back and everything else, and that's when it's hard of other stuff and everything else. So, like I said, the building of something. I'm more interested in the Owens Punk thing versus the Cody Randy thing. I mean, they can change my mind, but we will see what happens this week. and everything else like that. Tuesday we'll start talking about that. Yeah, I don't know. There's some other stuff that happened on SmackDown. I didn't really get to watch all of it. I just only watched some of it. So I apologize for the lame view of that. But that is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, that was long. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys probably tomorrow. Talk about Raw, and then next week we'll start talking about Raw and SmackDown, or SmackDown and Raw actually. So that's next Tuesday, but tomorrow we'll see you tomorrow. So have a great, wonderful day. Okay, bye.